here's a look at the arena and court where the NBA will resume their season. As you can see, Black Lives Matter is displayed on the court. You can also see where announcers will sit in these spaced benches for players and coaches. Hard to believe we're so close to the return of basketball. Yes, sir. So could the NBA bubble restart in Orlando present an opportunity for a rebirth of super teams? An anonymous coach told Yahoo Sports that he believes it's inevitable, merely due to proximity of players sharing the same space and being in the same hotels for an extended period of time. The coach added, there's so much to do in the downtime. The league can't police that type of stuff. Max, let me ask you this. Should tampering be a big concern within the bubble for the players?
No. Well, first of all, let me say this. The only time a super team was created that was really bad for the league, I felt, was the super duper team of the Warriors recently. And that's because Kevin Durant, one of the best players you'll ever see, joined a 73-win team. At a certain point, it becomes anti-competitive. Like, you're trying to win a championship to prove your greatness, but the championship doesn't prove anything, because if you add an MVP caliber player to a 73-win team, they can't not win the title. Of course they're going to win the title. What does that prove? So that he's an MVP caliber player, we already knew that. Does it prove that they're champions? Not really in the way it's supposed to. So that is a problem, I agree, if something like that happens. It's only happened once in history. That's it. Otherwise, tampering rules are absurd. Think about what that really means. First of all, where you're drafted in the NBA, you work your whole life to get to be one of the best players in the world at something that's one of the most competitive industries in the world. For example, it is hardly hyperbolic to say that everyone in the world who can play in the NBA does. Like, who could actually play in the NBA who doesn't? It's fun. It's not a violent sport like football or boxing. It pays well. Everyone's a star. Everyone who can play in the NBA basically does. They all want to, right? So in that level of competitive industry, you finally get to the top. You have no choice where you're going to play basically the first 7 years of your career. The way the salary structure works, if you're a superstar. No one's ever chosen after four's been offered max deals. Okay, I'm going to leave, like maybe one or two guys, but basically it's set up so first 6, 7 years you're going to stay in place. You finally get to be a free agent, right? Now I get to choose where I want to go. They still don't want you to be free, because the logic of tampering actually is, even though this is a grown person, ostensibly capable of making decisions for themselves, if someone else comes to them and makes a better argument for them, appeals more to them, that they should go play somewhere else, that the team that currently employs them, they want to keep that argument away from them. Don't give this person who has free will that option, because it's better option than us, and they'll like it more. It's ridiculous. There shouldn't be tampering rules in the first place. When a player's a free agent, they should go where they want to go. And the team that they already play on has an advantage, theoretically, in theory, because they know them, they've developed relationships with them, they've shown them that this is a desirable place to work. If they failed to do that, goodbye. I don't get tampering rules in the first place.
Well, Max and Molly, the number one rule that I learned from my coach, Doc Rivers, is never trust an anonymous source, because 9 times out of 10, they don't believe some of the stuff that's coming out of their mouth. That's why they can't put their name behind it. But here it is, right? Tampering in the bubble, scared that guys are going to be recruiting guys. Didn't Kawhi Leonard and Paul George go to the Clippers and pull the fast one under everyone's nose this past summer? Didn't Anthony Davis get traded to the Lakers? Like, so much happened. Guys are friends outside of basketball. It's not the 70s. This is not the 80s. This is not the 90s. Guys have cell phone numbers. They have each other Instagram, social media. They work out in the same area. Majority of the guys are in the same city in the offseason in Los Angeles playing pickup together. And like Max was saying, hey, if the organization is doing a poor job of keeping guys, then that's their fault. They should have it where guys saying, you know what? Nah, I'm not leaving this situation. I hear you, but I'm in a perfect situation right here. And that's not what's happening. What's happening is players are finally controlling their own destination in free agency. So I don't see what the problem is down there in the bubble. And once again, to reiterate, don't trust an anonymous source. because they don't believe half the stuff that they're saying anyway. And by the way, didn't Draymond Green call Kevin Durant right after the game from the parking lot on his cell phone? So, I mean, at the end of the day, you cannot stop it. These guys are friends, and that's just how it is.
Yeah, now I will say this, Perk. There's probably more chance, in fact, in the bubble for chance interactions or more time spent talking about things, all those kind of things. But my point is not that there's not. Well, okay, you could tell me why not. My point is not that it might not be more interaction like that. It's that there shouldn't be a rule against it in the first place. It's ridiculous.
I agree, but listen, Max, guys that are down, teams that are down there in the bubble, they're down there on the mission. And guys are not friendly. Like, they know that they have 8 games and they're trying to win championships. So guys are not getting together and teaming up right now. Like, this is not the time for that. And then on top of that, we're dealing with a pandemic. You just got finished saying it's not the 70s, 80s, 90s. Distancing.
You went through every decade in the last century saying it's not that, and now that guys are friends. Now you're telling me that they're not friends?
I'm not telling you that, Max. I'm telling you what's going on right down in the bubble. You said down in the bubble. I told you just because you're friends. Like, for example, I done got together with a group of guys and we done played cards together. That's not happening in the bubble. They have strict rules right now. You can't be around a certain number of people. That's what I'm trying to explain to you, Max. Don't try to flip the narrative on me. I know what I said. Nice try, though.
Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.